Last time,
the group gets in a fight with some Atlantean soldiers and a boss who is the mind controlling some of the soldiers. Galaxy tries out a new fireball spell. Mimi tries out a new animal spell, who she summons a dinosaur. And Dave catches a disease that makes him breathe only water. After the fight, Mimi finds that soldiers have a barely breathing Jed with them.
What do you call a mountaintop guarded by rogues? A sneak peek.
Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters.
Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters. I am Sam and I play Mimi. And this is our Dungeon Master, aka Daddy.
Curtis Bolin.
That's
and
me.
This is...
No, you're not introducing me. So I'm Galaxy / Birdie Bolin.
But we call her Galaxy.
And here's our guest today.
I'm Trent Reeser. I will be playing the part of Dave.
He
Trent.
came back.
He came back.
He loved it.
We weren't mean enough to him last time, apparently.
Not possible.
That couldn't make it this weekend, so
Wait,
we
it's
decided
not possible
to do
for us
it.
to not be mean enough?
Sam wants to throw.
Maybe.
Sam wants to throw Dave off the cliff.
Well,
I
Dave
haven't-
doesn't just let himself get thrown off the cliff by anyone.
It's been a long time since Trent played Dungeons and Dragons with us.
that was
It's been a couple episodes
away.
Wait, no, it was in Halloween. He was dressed up as a clown.
It's been a very long time, yeah.
Right, I was wearing the rainbow wig.
And yeah, so
And do you remember?
happy not Halloween.
So the adventure that he was here with us for was when we were fighting the werewolves in that abandoned mansion.
No, the curse is gone. The curse is
Yeah, you guys got your curses lifted.
Wait, have you been following up?
I've been trying to keep up, but I missed the last couple episodes.
Did you read the Dungeons and Dragons Daughters Mimi?
You mean the adventure log?
The adventure log. I have not read the adventure log.
There's an adventure log?
Wait.
Yeah, I've been writing down
Puts
all
a
of
lot
our
effort
adventures.
into it.
Why have not?
It's turning into a novel at this point.
Why haven't you?
You
I
should
did post it.
You should have it. You should have it published and bound.
Yeah.
We know pretty soon once we're done with the whole thing will be a long time. We will publish the book and we'll be like, here, we made a book. Read it.
If you want
And they read it and it becomes a bestseller book.
Totally. It would definitely be a bestseller. How could it not be a bestseller? So, girls, let's catch Trent up real quick on what happened. in the
So
last
let's go
episode.
back 100 years later. No, 100 years back.
Cliff notes.
Blooper.
Cliff notes.
In the beginning, there
In
was
the beginning.
a primordial soup.
Episode
No, they were cavemen.
monkeys and physical potions.
Super short condensed version. We finally made our way back to Westman. We tried to help.
I met Bob
You met-
again from
yep,
my
you met
kindergarten
Bob.
friend. He's my kindergarten friend.
We went back into the ruins and we traveled deep inside the ruins. We got away from the ruins by going on this very ancient but futuristic underground train.
And we speaked with the fish people.
Yep.
And Bertie tried to speak
We-
with
we-
them, which
we
not
re-
turned out quite as expected.
I remember the fish people were wearing Guy's pot,
Yep.
and
Yes.
you found Guy.
We found Guy.
Yep.
We got out of the fish people's town, and that's when we realized that we
With Guy,
were...
with Guy.
With Guy. We finally made it to the Xiloscient kingdom. We're not far from where the ancient black dragon that originally attacked the town of Westman and started this whole adventure from the very beginning. In the very last episode, we ran into a bunch of Atlantean soldiers who we found out actually saved Jed from the ancient ruins.
I remember Jed. Yes.
Was our old buddy, the old buddy Dragonborn of ours named Jed, who sacrificed himself to save us from a bunch of vampires as we got transported thousands of miles away. So, and one important detail is that you are diseased right now and stuck in a pool of water in the middle of a swamp. And you can only breathe water for the next, I'd say, about 2 hours or so.
No, 2 hours.
Are there any other symptoms?
No, you just.
I have to breathe water.
You have to breathe water now for the next 2 hours. So that was. So we fought this creature called an aboleth, and one of the aspects of this creature was that if you hit it, there was a chance that its slime and gunk could get on you, and if it got on you, you would be diseased for 1d4 hours. And while you were diseased, you could only breathe water, and that's what happened to you.
Okay. And the power of Mishakal could not protect me.
No.
Power of Michigan.
Oh, and there was a dinosaur last time too.
Yeah, I made it.
Wow.
Mimi now has the ability to conjure animals, and she chose a dinosaur.
Oh.
Who knew?
And his name is Dino-rific.
Dino-rific? That's a good name. All right, so I'm going to fast forward a little bit. So Dino-rific, he's no longer with you because he only lasts an hour. Dino-rific, but he doesn't die. He goes back to wherever he came from.
He goes to his family, but then if I call him again, he's go.
Dave, you got enough time has passed that you are out of the water, and everyone is now with the rest of the Atlantean soldiers at their camp. And
They're not Atlanteans.
yes, they are.
Oh. And now Dave can heal the other guy.
Well, yes, he could. But real quick, Sam, why did you think that these soldiers were not Atlanteans?
Well, because you never mentioned it before.
I'm fairly certain I mentioned it before because they
you
were the
said-
ones that showed you how to work the Atlantean blue holocube that had the commander general
Yeah, but
come
I
out
was
of it.
thinking, like, they had... Okay, let's just...
Okay, if I apologize if I never flat out said it, but it was heavily implied that they were Atlantean soldiers.
I did not know that.
Time has gone on. Dave is no longer needs to breathe water. He can move about.
No, but then he started drowning in the water.
He stayed in for just a little too long.
I thought you could breathe underwater.
So, Dave, you climb out, soaked head to toe, covered in gunk, because this wasn't like a lake or a pond that you're in. This was a large puddle of mucky, dirty water in the middle of a swamp.
Swamp water. Blech.
And just to remind you, so the Atlantean soldiers, when you met them, they were having a pretty bad day. In fact, it seems like that they were having a pretty bad couple of weeks. And they had said to you that rather than you helping them and healing them, they asked instead if you could heal this other guy and then just leave them alone. They were like, we want no more to do with you people.
Well, I think we should just heal their other guy and get Jed and
Mimi.
Yeah.
You are with the Atlantean soldiers right now?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, to make it easier, we all met up, and so you are all grouped together now.
And where are we? Are we still in the ruins? Are we?
We are in the forest that directly surrounds the Xiloscient capital.
Okay.
But the forest has been turned into a swamp. Galaxy realized that ancient powerful dragons, when they go somewhere to make their lair, to make their home, the land around them starts to magically change to whatever landscape they prefer. So black dragons, she knew, prefer swamplands, and so the once beautiful, majestic forest that surrounded the Xiloscient kingdom has been slowly turned into this mucky swamp. You would also know that if you were able to get the dragon to leave or to kill it, the land would revert back to its original woodiness.
Kill it! Kill the beast! Kill it!
So the black dragon is in the vicinity?
Yes, but it's still a number of miles away.
Okay.
That's a lot. That's hardly anything.
Okay, so we need to heal this other guy.
Yes.
And who do we know anything about other guy?
Well, Mimi has seen him already.
Wait,
Okay.
who's the other guy?
The Jed.
Oh, it's Jed that they want us to
Yes.
heal and then get lost.
Because they didn't know who this guy was. They just so this is a chance for you to ask questions if you want. You don't have to. But one thing
To who?
that I read to the soldiers.
Oh.
like, how did they get Jed? How did they get here? What are they doing? Why do they want us to leave? And all that. You don't have to ask them any of that if you don't want to. We can just keep this moving on.
Jed.
The guy who everyone has been referring to as Sarge, he's got a cigar in his mouth. He's chewing on it. He's chewing on it. It's not lit or anything like
Does he
that.
have an eye patch?
What can we tell, like, visually by looking at these Atlanteans? What do we know about them? Are they wearing armor, or what kind of weapons are they carrying?
They are wearing armor.
What is their appearance?
They are carrying guns. And from the fight that we had with them last time,
I'm going to guess they're more advanced than musketeers.
yes,
Okay.
they were fully automatic laser guns.
Okay.
I'm asking this to Sarge. How did you get Jed?
And he says, "Well, you had one of those blue hollow cubes like what you had.
I know, but like, how did you?
Found him in the ruins. We got attacked by vampires.
Why were you in the ruins?
We got an energy spike. We monitor
What's an energy spike?
the planet, and we see if there's any technology from the ancient ones that have been activated, and we go out and we scavenge it. Something happened down in that in those ruins that our sensors picked up, and so then we went out there to try and see what we could find.
We were actually there.
Oh, so you're the reason we got called in there.
No. He sacrificed us so we could live.
I lost 14 men down there, and I lost another one today.
Well, yeah, Sarge, we're certainly sorry for your loss, but, you know, we didn't actually call you. It was, you know, that seems to be your mission statement, to investigate these things.
Yeah, I know. You have to excuse me if I'm a little bitter about it. It's been a hard day.
Well, we certainly feel bad for your loss, and we'll help out in any way that we can.
So we'll do
certainly.
your orders and heal Jed and stay out of your way.
That would be fine, miss. We'd be much obliged.
What is Jed to you?
He had one of those blue hollow cubes on him. That's why I said when you showed it to me, I cursed and commented, "Does everyone have one of those darn things out here?"
So you don't know anything more about Jed than that?
No. It's our orders, or if we find anyone with one
Can we
of
go
those
see
blue
him?
cubes, we got to do everything we can to help them.
Can we go see him?
Those are just standing orders?
Yeah, because
Okay.
they're not supposed to be this many of them out here.
The guy from Doc.
And where are you guys from?
We're from Atlantis.
Which is where?
Oh my gosh, we were just there.
No, you weren't. No, Atlantis is an island that is south of the Kingdom of Miam.
I know.
Okay.
Do you know the Three Musketeers? Three Musketeers. What am I saying?
No, the musculators.
Well, I think I could probably help Jed out.
Can we see him?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, he's right up there. His name's Jed.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he told us.
That's not the name I was expecting for a lizard guy.
He's a Dragonborn.
Are you all Dragonborn?
What?
All
no,
you
Jed
Atlanteans?
is a dragonborn.
Jed is?
No, all the Atlanteans are human.
They're human. Okay.
Yes.
Phew!
So, but you had asked about their appearance before.
Yeah.
So they are all wearing armor. But picture kind of like the soldier armor like in Aliens, of where they've got the helmets with the eyepieces that come down. They've got kind of like shoulder pads with like cameras and lights and stuff hanging off of them. And as you're getting an eye on them, it's like they vary in height. There's a black man that's with them. There's one woman that's within the group. So it's like there's a diversity that's there. But they are all human. All right. So he points you up the ramp to, it's this large metal tent that is sitting up off of the ground, and it has weird sort of platforms hanging off to either side of it. And there appears to be large holes in the back of this thing. And it seems to be really poorly designed because the stilts or the braces that this tent is sitting on ends in wheels. So it looks like it could very easily be pushed around. It's a jet plane. So I'm trying. Yeah. No, it's not a jet plane. It's a jet plane.
Jed plane.
It's
a
a
Jed
sounded
plane.
like you said Jed.
Yeah, isn't that? It could
Jed?
be. It's the jet plane because Jed is on it.
Jed could be a Jedi.
Yeah, he could. He's just missing the eye.
Jed, and I'm yelling into the tent.
Well, the last time that you saw him is that he was unconscious inside. So he's been hurt and unconscious like that for like a week and a half.
And I'm seeing if he's alive.
What? Yep. There's no noise that comes back.
He's still alive, but
He was barely breathing.
I peek in the tent.
Well, the only reason I described it as a tent is because your characters have no idea what a jet airplane looks like.
We don't.
And so this is a jet airplane, kind of a personnel carrier, and the back half of it is folded down into a platform.
I touch it and I can turn it into a jet plane.
No, that's not the way that works.
But I peek in the hole.
Okay, Sam.
You don't just peek in the hole. It's like a big garage that you can walk up a ramp and go into.
I peek in. I peek.
Okay.
So it's something like the back of a C-130. Or,
sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So Dave will make his way up there and check out Jed's condition. Maybe say a prayer to Mishakal on his behalf.
Okay.
mean Michigan?
Attempt to assess his condition. I'm sure one of Dave's abilities can have him feeling better pretty soon.
Yep. So you get in there, and you can tell that this is where all the soldiers have been staying. So they have been using this metal structure as like a tent. So you can tell they've got bedrolls out. This is where they had some small stoves and pots and pans and things like that, and other jugs of water, rations that are about. So they've been living in this thing for a week and a half. And Jed is in a bedroll. But the bedroll is too small for him, so he's spilling out on all sides of it, and his feet are sticking out a couple of feet past the end of it. And he's there, and he's breathing very shallow. And if you go up and you touch him, he feels very warm as well. So he's running a fever. He's still the front of his clothes and chest is caked in dried blood. So it looks like these soldiers they stabilized him, but they didn't do much more beyond that. And Sarge comes walking up behind you. He's like, I don't know what's going on with him. It's like our doc did what they could, but he just won't snap out of it.
Does he appear to have any bite marks?
Oh yeah, yeah.
All over?
He's covered in bite marks and claw marks and stuff.
Are the Dragonborn?
Mm-hmm.
Can I look at
Are
his
they
teeth?
susceptible to vampirism?
Yes, they would be susceptible to that.
Can I look at his teeth?
Sure.
And then I kind of peer and look at his teeth.
So all of his teeth are pointed.
He's been bit by a vampire!
He's been bit by 20 vampires.
Well, at a minimum, we can guess that he's probably had a lot of his blood drained. So
He's even more of a vampire.
Do you like a vampire?
No.
we should probably wake him up and see what's going on. So
Then this is what
cure wounds, I suppose.
Sure.
This is what I do. Jed, wake up!
All right, so Dave, you're going to be casting Cure Wounds, right?
Yeah.
Okay, roll a D8 for me.
6.
6.
So that's 14.
What does that look like when you cast that spell? So you have to touch him to cast Cure Wounds, but do you give out a prayer? Do you put your hand up and light shines on it? It's just like, how do you think that looks?
Well, I would have to hover over the patient, place my hand on their chest or their forehead somewhere, say a prayer to Mishakal. By the power of Mishakal, I cure you. And then I would imagine some sort of glowing light coming out from my hands, spreading over his physical wounds, knitting them back together.
Yep.
Stabilizing his bodily functions, dropping his fever, things like that.
His breathing does start to get deeper and starts to get more regular. And there's a kind of tenseness that sort of just dissolves out of his body. And his eyes start to flicker. And then they open. And he looks over at you and he says, Dave.
Hey, I'm here too.
Mimi. Galaxy. It's so good to see the three of you again.
Sup?
And he sits up with a groan, just, oh.
Sup, dude?
Ow. And you hear, the vertebrae in his back crack as he stretches and moves his limbs any which way. He's like, what happened?
You got self-conscious when the vampire...
I got self-conscious.
You mean... I said yeah.
You got self-conscious?
He also got concussion.
It's I got self-conscious and a concussion. Okay.
So you were nearly exsanguinated.
Yeah, you almost died. You were breathing a little, but
Ensanguinated.
you were in a coma. A happy little coma.
He puts his hand to his head and he shakes it. He's like, "Thank you."
So what happened back there?
Well, the last thing that I remember was you disappearing in that magical platform. And then
How was it magic?
And then I fought through those 3 vampires and ran into, and he points his clawed hand at the Sarge and the other soldiers that are standing outside. And I ran into these fine soldiers who saved my life.
So you ran into the soldiers. Was that the last you remember?
That was the last thing that I remember.
Do you remember what the vampires look like?
Did you defeat the vampires?
No.
Okay.
No.
They're still
strong.
Yeah.
They're still alive.
So that's when Sarge speaks up again. He's like, "Yeah, we dragged him out of there and then opened fire, but our guns didn't do anything to those vampires." The Sarge says, "Is like I remember what one vampire looked like."
Did he look like a chief?
A chief?
Yeah, like the head of the vampire.
Oh. He
Did you look like some cheese?
did seem he did see, I don't know, there was a lot that was going on down there. There was lots of fighting and screaming and gunfire. So it was hard to tell, but the one vampire I'm thinking of, it was a man. It was a tall man. He had a cape and cowl on, dark hair. And there was just something about him that just screamed evil. And that blue cube that Jed had was the only thing that kept us from running immediately in the other direction.
That vampire you're talking about? He's my great grandpa. Dun dun dun!
Can the 3 of you roll a perception check for me?
What's 8?
There's a D20.
I got a
17.
22.
Wow. All right. So the Sarge is telling you about this vampire that they ran into. And Mimi and Dave, you notice behind him that Guy is out talking to one of the other soldiers. And he's fiddling around with some Atlantean equipment out there.
I say, "Hey guy, what you got?" And I go really close.
So you get out there and
Yeah,
you see it's this small device that Guy has in his hands, and he's got a screwdriver in one hand, and he makes an adjustment to it, and he turns a knob on it, and suddenly voices start coming out of this little device. And the soldier standing in front of him, he's like, "Oh my gosh, how did you do that?" And Guy's just like, "I don't know, it just seemed to be the way that
Guy.
it's supposed to work."
Were you an Atlantean?
No, I guess I just have a knack for fiddling around with it. Well, I mean, it's like in the ruins, it's I reprogrammed that terminal to do the Sudoku puzzle on it. That was me. I did that.
Mimi, why are you over there? I'm gonna go to you.
So are we hearing voices out of the device?
Yeah, it's a small radio, and it's picking up some Atlantean chatter coming over the airwaves.
Anything relevant?
No, nothing relevant. But the soldier that's there is super duper impressed that not just Guy, but that anyone could have fixed this. Because, well, you kind of, generally you get the impression that the Atlanteans, they're more scavengers than actually creating or making these things themselves. So the Sarge comes down, is like, and Jed is with him. He's walking down. He's towering over everyone. And Jed is tall, even for a dragon. Dragonborn are tall people, but Jed is especially tall for a Dragonborn. Because he's like, you measure him from like horn to foot, and he's 7.5 feet tall. Sarge says, "Do you guys have what you need?" I mean,
all we need is a wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow.
what do you need a wheelbarrow for?
To carry him.
He can
Jed
walk
walked down
And then
with them.
And then I look over my shoulder.
I'm curious, is it sunny weather?
It is sunny weather, yes.
And Jed
I
seems
can
to be
call my pony.
suffering no ill effects.
I can call my pony.
Nope, you don't get your pony yet. Still too far away. He's still stretching and groaning a bit, after he's been in bed rest for a
Nothing
week.
from the sunlight.
Correct.
Okay.
Dungeon Master. When I
Oh, I didn't even
Dungeon Master.
I didn't even think that's where you were going.
I'm very concerned about cursed animals or cursed people.
And then
And through the trees, through the sunlight, just to reiterate that Jed is not burning up or having any discomfort or harm from that. For a moment, you catch a gleam of gold out on the horizon. And
oh wait,
Mimi
no.
and Galaxy, you would know that is Castle Xilo. That is the stronghold. That is the center of power in the Xiloscient kingdom. At least it was before the Black
it's like the
Dragon.
castle?
It is the castle. Yep. So this is the seat and center of power of the Elven Xiloscient kingdom. At least before the Black Dragon came in and destroyed it.
Mama.
I see my room up there.
When we entered the Xiloscient kingdom, was it our intention to visit the capital, or to investigate the dragon, or did we just get here by happenstance?
We did get here by happenstance, but it was in the direction that the group does want to go in, because we want to get rid of the Black Dragon.
We want to get
That is going to be the final episode of Dungeons and Dragons
What?
for
It
the
won't- it won't-
season.
I suppose it wouldn't hurt to have a chat with Jed now that he's feeling a little better, and ask him, if he wants to hang with us,
Well, I
or
wanna
if
go
he's
see
got
my
his
mom.
own activities to pursue.
Okay.
Do you guys want Jed to come with us, or
Yes.
should we say goodbye and
My ceilings are tall, so okay.
Yeah, come. He should come with us.
so he'll fit in the castle?
He just might hit the
Okay.
Chandelier.
It's like
Well, we'll give him a heads up before we go in the castle.
Heads up, damn it.
every ceiling is 10 feet tall. He'll fit in perfect.
Wait, no, I thought it was 12.
Does it matter?
Yay!
Well, if it's a 10-foot ceiling and you got a 3-foot chandelier, then that's 7 feet, and he can clearly hit his head on that. Where if it's a 12-foot ceiling and a 3-foot chandelier, then there's more than enough clearance for a Dragonborn to walk underneath.
What about a 20-foot? She
But
said
as a
20.
halfling, these are the kinds of things I don't usually have to worry about. This castle, we're not really close to it yet. We have a ways to go before we get there.
Hey, guys, who wants to do a race?
And it might be advantageous for us to have Jed with us. Should we ask him if he wants to come along?
Hey, Jed, do you want to come? You want to have a race?
So when you turn to ask him, that's when you see him tightening the straps on his gloves and gauntlets, and he says, "I'm coming with you.
We were about to
It
ask
is my
you.
destiny."
Well, glad to have you, Jed.
Good. It's good to have you back.
You can carry the heavy pack.
I do need to find my sword. That's when one of the soldiers comes dragging it out, because it's a long sword. The sword's it's almost 7 feet long, and it's
How
heavy.
could you not miss it?
And there's soldiers dragging it along the ground. The tip's digging into the dirt behind him, and he picks it up with a grunt and hands it to Jed. He's, "Thank you," and he grabs it with one scaled hand. One of the other soldiers, they come over and they hand you some odd looking packages. They're like, we don't have a lot, but here's some food to bring with you.
I haven't ate for 2 days.
Are they MREs?
Yes, they are.
So, where are we going?
Let's go to my mama and dada.
No, my mom and papa
Well,
are probably
That's clear
dead.
on the other side of the kingdom. Don't we want to go to the capital
Mommy
and find
and
out what's
Daddy.
up with the dragon?
No, she's still convinced that her mom and dad are at the castle.
Because they were having a vacation for 2 years and it's only been a year.
So you have no idea if they are still there. What you do know is that the dragon had attacked the capital and caused so much damage, it caused all the residents to flee to the south as refugees into Westman. So you don't know if there's anyone that's still left there alive.
Did we find anyone amongst the refugees back
Yeah.
when in Westman that could give us
Bob.
some information?
Yeah, Bob, my
Bob.
kindergarten
Bob.
friend Bob.
Yeah, Bob was
Okay.
an old friend of Mimi's from kindergarten.
I made him up.
And he said, "Don't go there. The dragon's there. It's not safe."
Well, he never said that, but he was the one that expressed how terrible the damage was that the dragon had caused.
It was the worst thing ever.
Okay, we got Jed with us.
I look.
Should we set out on foot?
Wait, I want to see what we're carrying.
We know your ponies are still too far away.
Why? Tiny Ginger.
You have Guy with you too, as well.
Oh, we still have Guy.
Guy,
Yes.
carry me.
Good old Guy.
Guy, carry me.
And Guy is armed. He's armed with his trademark oar. He hasn't found a pot helmet yet.
The fish people.
The fish
still
people still have that.
Okay.
But he did manage to actually get a futuristic looking helmet from one of the soldiers. Apparently that was for payment for fixing the little radio device. Guy also he's also wearing some armor. It looks even more futuristic than the armor that the Atlanteans are wearing.
Wow.
And he's carrying a large energy gun that he still doesn't quite know how it works yet. But the armor and the gun he found in the ruins near Westman at one point in time.
No, I grabbed the spout.
What should our destination be? Should we head towards the capital and see what's going on there?
Yes.
Okay, then off we go, I would
My
say,
bedroom
right?
was purple and pink. You can.
Mishikal, grant us speed as we
And-
set forth on this holy mission.
Which we will probably die, but
It's not Michigan, it's Michigan.
For the last time, it's Mishikal.
Michigan.
I am a cleric of Mishikal. I think I know what my divinity's name
And then
is.
Mishikal-
Thank you very much.
And then Michigan comes out and it's like,
I
I'm
don't know what this
Michigan.
Michigan is. You're just making up words now. I'm getting grumpy.
So you guys bicker and fight the entire way.
Michigan.
But it does actually make the day go by very, very fast. And you do make more time than you would think. And it's almost sundown. But you get to the edges of the lake that the castle is in the middle of. So it's a very large lake that's a couple of miles across. And in the middle of it is a large island that the castle sits in the middle of.
It's just sitting in the middle, like there's no causeway or dock or ferry or.
Moon Whisper.
There used to be a large bridge made up of a bunch of different floating ferries, but that's all been scuttled and destroyed. And some of the things are on fire and are still burning. And from this distance, you can still see smoke, and you can see that there are fires that are burning in the castle and in the surrounding courtyard and on the walls. And there does seem to be creatures milling about, but you can't tell anything from this far away because we're still about like 3 miles away from this thing.
I have no one's in my pooping in my bedroom.
Do we have any devices or spells that can give us far sight, binoculars, telescope, anything? Like that?
No devices.
Oh, I know what
Galaxy, do you have any spells that can do something like that?
Wait, let me check. Here, let me show some stuff I have. I have a pillow, I have a
No,
boomerang,
no,
I have a yarn, I have a
no,
teddy bear, I have
no,
a pop,
no,
I have matches,
no,
rhubarb pie,
no,
water.
No.
Anything you need.
I think the rhubarb pie is the solution to this.
Yeah, let's just take it relax and eat some rhubarb pie.
It's very good for your eyesight, I hear. It's practically eating like a bag of carrots.
So there's no obvious way across the lake. How far across the lake
a
is it?
million hours.
It's 3 miles.
Oh, 3 miles away. Of
Yes.
course, yeah.
I could
That's
use,
a big lake.
I could fly. I could fly.
And then carry us across.
So, yes, Galaxy can fly. She does have a spell that can make her fly.
It's one of my level 3.
It is one of your level 3.
Level 3.
You could investigate around the area to see if you could find anything that may help.
Let's see if maybe we can look
Levitate.
along the shore and maybe there's a rowboat
How about
or a
levitate?
canoe or something along
Yep.
those lines that's
Roll an investigation
that
for me.
hasn't been destroyed. Is that a D20?
That is a D20.
17.
17. You find a battered, but it looks like a sturdy rowboat.
Is there room in there for the 5 of us?
Oh, I forgot there's 5 of you now.
No, Jed?
At first, I'm like, that's a silly question. It's 2 elves and a halfling. Why would you not fit in a rowboat? Then I forgot. You-
And we have a
no,
7-foot Dragonborn
No, Jed
with
could
us.
go across easily.
Or can Dragonborn swim?
no, they
I'm not that familiar with Dragonborn. I don't know.
Jed can swim, but that's not inherent to
Okay.
Dragonborn.
He can just, the water only goes up to his big toe.
It's a deep lake. It's a large, deep lake.
Okay, well, should we try to fit in the boat, or we
Can
have
I
to take a
fly?
couple of
I call
trips?
shotgun.
I go flying.
So Jed walks over and he flips the boat over, and he's like, "We need oars."
Oh,
Well, I know one of us has an oar.
yeah, I believe I have an oar. I have to
The
tell.
guy's like, "Oh yeah."
If only we had a druid who could transform into something aquatic that could pull us across.
Hey, I have an oar. I have an oar in my hand.
No, you don't.
It's in my inventory.
No, you can do an investigate. Do you want to search for one?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get a 2.
18. Okay.
I have it in my inventory.
In fact, you find a set of oars, and Guy looks very relieved that his oar will not be used in the water. Jed pushes the boat out to the edge of the lake, and he says, "Get in."
I call shotgun.
I call the shotgun. Everybody calls shotgun.
No, you don't call the shotgun. You just call shotgun.
I said it first. I said it first.
Shotgun.
Dun, dun.
Okay, so should we set off across the lake now? Should we wait for night? Should we
Now.
go right now?
I think it'd be
Okay.
really cooler in the video if we did it at night.
In the,
Actually-
in the video?
Yeah.
It's kind of sunsetting a little, so you're getting on time.
Yeah, I'm not really clear how long it took us to walk. It seemed like it took most of the day.
It did take most
so
of the day,
it's got to
yes.
be getting late in the afternoon towards.
It was almost sunset when you got
Okay.
to the lake.
So if we go right now, we might get. It's 3 miles. That's a long way to row.
Yeah.
It'll probably be dark by the time we get there.
I know.
Do you guys want to? You could make camp and take a long rest before you go across.
sleeping bag. Ooh.
But of course, there could be some advantage of going over there under the cover of night.
Should we go ahead and head out?
I kind of want to
No.
sleep. I'm
Yeah.
tired.
Let's see what Jed thinks. He seems like a man of action.
I think I'm tired. Yeah.
Well, you guys can nap on the boat. You're probably not going to be doing the rowing since you're so dainty.
my mage hand will. You know what? I will row both of the oars tied behind my backs with my eyes shut.
Oh, so you're gonna do the oaring? Okay.
Oh, I want to do them with my mage hand.
So
You're so lazy.
so Dave goaded Mimi and Galaxy so much that they elbowed Jed out of the way to get in the seat, and they each take up an oar.
So we're on the boat. These two are elfing the oars.
They're-
I'm sleeping, and my mage hand's doing the work.
I don't think your mage hand is going to be strong enough to do it.
No, don't worry. You can do it. You can do 5 pounds.
No, it could do 10 pounds.
You can?
Yeah, it could do 10 pounds.
Oh, then that's
I
pretty-
suppose if it can exert 10 pounds of pressure, yeah, I guess it could. All right, so Mimi,
I'm working my butt off, and Birdie's like,
well, she would have to stay awake to concentrate on mage hand. So mage hand is on, I'm going to say on the right oar. Mimi, you're on the left oar.
oh, left is never right.
That's
You
absolutely
are
correct.
100% correct.
Yep.
Left, right, good.
Mimi, I want you to roll a athletics check for me.
Oh, you calling me fat? That's strong.
I got a 10.
All right, so you got a 10. You are getting
Not so 20.
tired.
And we've only done a lap.
And
Lap? No, we're going straight across.
yeah, we're going straight across. So you're
You
getting
only did one thing, and you're already tired.
All right. Well, it looks like Mimi's getting tired. We need someone to switch.
No,
Should
I
Guy
can
or Jed take over?
do this.
It's okay. There's no shame in being tired. Rowing is hard work.
Jed
You
still
call me
needs to
fat?
rest. How about Dave does it?
Yeah, let's
I could try. It's hard when my feet don't touch the floor, though. I can't get a lot of leverage. But I'll give it a shot.
No, I throw Dave up the boat. I use him as a row.
all right. Dave and
He's so much lighter.
so Dave and Mimi, you two are going to switch places, and Dave's going to take over rowing.
Yeah,
I want
Iron
the
Man.
both of you to roll a dexterity check.
Dexterity.
Oh, a 3 plus 3.
12.
So you got a 6? Okay. So as you're switching places, you accidentally trip over all of the feet that are in the boat. You don't capsize it or knock anyone over or anything like that, but you do knock one of the oars into the water.
Great going.
Hey, that was my mage hand one.
Use your mage hands and grab the oar and pull it back.
Okay. Got it.
Yep, she does. Her mage hand appears, grabs the oar, and brings it right back to you. So you sit
You know my
down.
mage
That's
hand's
quick
doing
thinking.
it.
Quick thinking.
My mage hand's gonna do it, so.
You're going to high-five me with mage hands?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was good thinking. Because of that, I'm going to give you an inspiration point.
So I can add one more?
So, do you have a point of inspiration already? No. Up towards the top. I haven't used this much
I don't have
because I haven't been
anything.
terribly impressed by your role playing.
I don't have anything on
Wait,
there.
where's
Right, write a 1 in there
You
now.
write your inspiration point right there. 1.
Birdie, what inspiration means is that you get to choose when to use it. You cast a spell, you take an action, you do a saving throw, you do an ability check, and if you choose to use that point of inspiration, that means you get to make the roll with advantage. So you get to roll 2 20-siders and pick the highest of the two.
I think I'm gonna save that for the dragon.
I think that's a really good idea.
But I want to save up for more.
But you never know what's going to happen between now.
Oops, knocked out the oar. Got in it. I grabbed it.
I thought that was very clever and good and quick thinking. So that's why I give you.
She knocked it out again.
Well, technically, you were the one that knocked it out
What?
because you and Dave were tripping over each other as you were switching spots, and I could see you trying to push Dave into the water. She's not denying it.
I keep my center of gravity low at all times.
All right. So, Dave, I want you to roll an athletics check now. So you start rowing. You figure out a way to get perched up on the bench and rowing pretty good, even though your legs aren't touching. But you start getting tired, too.
It's actually, that's a 6. Yeah, the line's worn out.
That's a 6? Okay.
And I don't have any modifiers, so.
Okay. So I'll say that Mimi rolled for the first mile. You rowed for the second mile, and now you're getting winded.
Fine, I'll let my mage hand do it, and then I can do it. We both can do it together.
All right, both of you, I want you to roll athletics checks because you two are going to switch sides now
Well,
on
it
the
was
boats.
dexterity before.
Or dexterity. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
5.
19.
Okay, this time, Dave, you do fall into the water.
Can I at least grab hold of the side of the boat so I don't sink?
Jed reaches over and pulls you out by the scruff of your neck.
And you're super scared.
And
So
says,
like,
Thanks, Jed.
"Are you all right, my friend?"
and
I'm a little cold and wet, but I'll be fine.
You were only in there for a second.
Can I have some whiskey?
No, this is my whiskey.
Oh, let me write it. You want some rhubarb pie?
You're such a jerk.
Want some rhubarb
That's
pie?
a very kind offer, but no, I don't want pie right
You'd
now.
rather have my whiskey.
So Galaxy, you start rowing on one side. You got Mage Hand rowing on the other. I want you to roll a perception check, just you.
22.
Okay. 22? All right. So you notice as you're rowing, you're concentrating on your rowing because you're a mage. You're not very strong. You're used to being more bookish and using your brain and using Mage Hand to accomplish physical things like this. So you're getting very tired and winded fairly quickly.
Still doing it.
You're still you're still doing it. You're focusing on your Mage Hand. The Mage Hand is rolling on the other side.
I'm also focusing on me.
That's
so
right.
Like with one eye, focusing on the mage hand, with the other eye.
No, well, you're looking down at the bottom of the boat, focusing on like a knot in the wood. And that's when you notice that there's water that's starting to creep into the bottom of the boat.
Our boat is flooding! Our boat is flooding!
Do you stop rowing? Okay. So Mimi or Galaxy,
don't stop rowing.
Galaxy
Keep
stops
rowing.
immediately. And
But
the boat is sinking. The boat is sinking.
Okay, let me keep doing it.
Well, can we use?
Well, you're exhausted now, and we're still
Jed?
like half a mile away from
Do
shore.
we have anything to bail with?
Jed, you do it. I'll do mage hand.
I am Dave.
Guy offers up his new helmet.
Thanks, Guy.
So be careful with that.
Well, you can do the bailing if you want.
Oh, okay. Okay, he starts So Guy starts bailing the water out of the bottom of the boat.
And she's done.
Yeah,
Her
she's
mage hands
exhausted.
are done.
Well, she can still keep. She can keep doing the mage hand. Actually, roll a.
Athletics.
No, because I want to see if you can keep concentrating on the mage hand. Because you're exhausted from all the rowing that you did, roll a Constitution saving throw.
12 plus, what does it say by constitution? 0.
12. Well, 12 is good enough, so you can keep the mage hand going. So, but Jed, he sits down in your place. Roll a dexterity check for me.
18.
Okay. So you both, for the first time, you trade places with someone in the boat with no problems, and it just happens to be the largest person in the boat. Go figure.
Yeah, but we don't mean fat. We don't mean that.
We don't mean fats.
No,
No,
we don't.
No, he's
No.
literally the biggest person in the boat.
Yeah, he's just by tall.
Which is a couple inches taller.
Yeah,
You
he's,
mean a couple
he's
feet?
totally just a couple inches taller than your 5'1" elf.
And he's like 7 feet.
7.5. He's 7'6". Jed sits down and he starts grunting and really putting his full muscles into the oars.
Imagine he's pretty strong.
He is very strong, and the boat really starts
Kissing your guns.
gliding through the water now. But the
Why
water,
hasn't he been rowing since the start?
because you goaded them into
Right, that's-
showing
of
their
course.
physical prowess.
Hey,
course
well,
I
arm's
did.
pretty good. I've been doing it for
I'm
2
awesome.
hours. Yeah, you
So,
didn't
and
even do any work.
The water in the boat is starting to get deeper and deeper. Guy is not able to keep up with the water that's starting to come in.
Does Dave have anything else he can use? I guess I could use my boots.
You do have a shield that you could potentially scoop.
Dave's gonna jump in and help with the
Ice
bailing.
cream cake.
Oh, you're okay.
Ice cream cake.
Yeah,
know,
that's
we-
true.
we-
She's got a shield too that you could potentially scoop water out with.
We
Ice
have
cream cake.
we have a rhubarb pie pan.
No, it's still on the pie.
All right, I want.
Unless
Okay,
we
so here's
eat it
what
right
we're going to
now.
do. We're going to make. We're going to do 5 athletics checks. So the 3. So everyone's going to roll an athletics check. I'm going to roll 2 for Guy and for Jed. And as long as 3 of us can get above a 15, I'll say that we're successful in getting to shore.
I got an 8.
So that one's out.
I got a 19 and a 17.
I got 10.
Okay, Mimi, you need to roll an athletics check.
Do you add anything?
No, not for athletics.
Do you add anything to it?
I did add some.
Okay. All right. So the boat goes under the water,
And I can
but
breathe.
you're maybe 100 yards away from shore at
I
this
start
point.
swimming and kicking water into Dave's face.
Dave, get on my back if you can't.
So
She does.
everybody, let's roll everyone roll a survival check.
Ooh. Survival.
11.
19.
8.
No.
I got a 5 and I get 3 plus.
You got an 8? Okay. So you are still too worn out from rowing that you just can't get your arms to work.
If only you could change into an otter or
She can.
a turtle or a fish
Here,
or
get on my back, Mimi.
Okay, I turn into a fish.
or a goose or a duck or
No, I wanna be a duck.
You gonna turn into a duck? I will. Okay, so at the level that you're at, you can't technically turn into a duck because it's a flying creature, but I will let you turn into a duck, but you just can't fly.
so a paddling duck.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so you turn into a duck and you start paddling away. Okay, but everybody.
I would have gone with beaver or otter personally over a duck, but whatever.
Hey, ducks are awesome.
They
Not taking anything away from ducks,
Yeah.
but in this situation, it clearly calls for an otter.
So it's dark out. You guys get up onto the shore, soaking wet. Everyone's tired, exhausted, and cold.
And the duck climbs up the shore like.
That turned out to not be a very good boat at all.
And
I had a boat in my inventory just to tell you.
you did not have a boat in your inventory.
But
Yeah, I know you didn't. Don't say it like you're just fooling all of us by saying you had a boat in your inventory.
oh,
No, do not write boat in your inventory. You can't just write stuff down and have it be there.
do you know how? Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Pillow,
No,
a
no,
boomerang, a
no.
line, a teddy bear,
No.
pop,
A doorknob, matches, rhubarb pie, water.
That rhubarb pie is going to go bad soon.
I know. Rubik's Cube, spell book,
Well, it's
and
probably
oars.
wet right now,
Oh,
right?
that's
Because
true.
we all went in the lake.
That's
Why
true.
do you
Yep,
have
your
a
rhubarb pie is ruined.
Why do you have a Rubik's Cube?
You get on shore and you see the castle, the golden castle of Xilo is standing in front of you. And you can see that all above the parapets on the wall, there's little creatures that are milling about. And there's lots of fires and sconces that are out and tons of smoke from burning trash and other things that are coming up from the castle. It doesn't look like that there's elves in this castle anymore. It looks like some other creatures have moved in.